Welcome aboard, sweet Susies, to Mr. Bones' Wild Rides. Today, we've got a new Tomb Raider tutorial, and this time it's for Tomb Raider 3 Remastered Restricted. For those that don't know, Restricted is a glitch category where you cannot use the photo mode trigger glitch or the keyhole glitch. Photo mode trigger is a glitch from a release patch where you could embed in a wall, go into photo mode, and go all the way to event triggers much further in the level, usually the level end trigger, to activate them without physically being there. And the keyhole glitch is a popular glitch also used in Tomb Raiders 4 and 5 to activate keyholes without the required items using flare embeds. Neither one of these glitches are possible in the current patch of the game, so in order to perform them you have to down patch, and they're considered very divisive by the community, leading to the emergence of the restricted category, which is considered more faithful to the spirit of a remastered glitch any percent speedrun. If you're familiar with the glitch any percent run from OG Tomb Raider 3, many of these glitches will be familiar to you. I personally really enjoyed this category as it contains a wide breadth of different glitches. It's very challenging, but not incredibly difficult, and is generally a relatively short run. If you enjoy this tutorial and want more like this, please subscribe, like, comment, do all the YouTube stuff, and without further ado, let's go. So we start in Jungle. First thing you're going to do is we're going to make a delayed running jump slightly to the left. So I like to make sure you go down this slope a little bit and a little bit to the left, like that. If you hear the secret activate, you went a little bit too far to the left and you're going to wind up getting impaled by spikes. So you want to reload if that happens. Then flip there. And you want to do some grabs so that you go a little bit further, pick up this medkit, jump over the side, and then delay your next jump, pull out your guns to cancel the camera, and here we're going to do our next trick. So Remastered graphics has a lot of stuff in the way, so I'm going to go to OG graphics. You want to not jump to this slope, but to this one. That one is going to propel you in the direction we want to go, so you want to jump around this corner to that slope, and you want to hear that secret chime. So I'm going to sprint along here to over here. Now we have to go over these slopes to this little ledge right here. How do you do that, you say? Well, we can't jump over it just straight on. No matter what we try, you can't just jump over it. What we have to do is we have to jump over it at an angle. Almost a 45-degree angle. And what I like to use is the corner of the flat section to jump over. Like this. And then make sure you have a flare out. And then we're going to jump to here. And this is actually a full block. You can actually stand all the way over here. And we're going to running jump to here. And then running jump through these leaves. Flare cancel your stumble. And we wind up at our first glitch. So here we want to phase under the exit gate. What you want to do is not this. No. Instead, you want to swan dive, and while you're swan diving, just hold forward and grab, and that's it. Like that. And you wind up in Temple Ruins. Pretty simple. There's a medkit here if you want to pick it up. And we're going to jump onto this slope over here. If you want to go for world record, then you can just jump into the corner like that. You want to hit the very top of that slope. The very tippy top of the slope, like the top pixel. Otherwise, you just grab it, pull up, jump and grab. Now there are two different ways we can do this next glitch. The old way is you pull out a flare, you jump down here, and you do a crawling corner bug, and I'll explain what that is later, because this is not the way you normally do this glitch. This is the old way of doing it. How we do it now is I like to use as a visual this leaf on this platform. You see the tip of that leaf? I use that to just jump across here, and you should land in the right spot. And we're going to do what's called a glitchless glitch, where you want to align the seam of the wall in the middle of Lara's part, like that. And then jump at the wall. And in that jump, you want to turn to the... As she's sliding down the wall, turn to the left, and as she's about to hit the ground, hit roll. I'll show you what happens if you bonk. You want to just roll and do one tap forward like that, and you should end up in the right place. You want to be... See? Like that. You want to be right next to that second black line. This is a little bit too far forward. See how it doesn't work. Again, jump at the wall seam. Turn to the left. And as she's sliding down, hold roll. You don't want to roll too early, because then she'll flip midair. You want to start rolling as she, like, hits the arc of her jump. It might take a little bit of practice if you're not used to it. So here's what it looks like once more. Like that. You just roll off. Flare cancel your stumble. And we're gonna roll into this. Roll up. And you can actually sprint roll down slopes to avoid the slope stumble. We're gonna slide down this slope, jump at the last second to avoid the stumble. Get your head on the ceiling. And we're going to do a crawling crack bug. Now be careful here because you can soft block. I'll show you what that looks like. And this is for any crawling crack bug. You do this glitch multiple times in this game and you can soft block. So instead, here's one way of doing it. You do it so that she wiggles a little bit and then roll through. Or what you can do is you can be flat against the wall, go onto your hands and knees, walk, turn, and then roll through. You want to make sure not to touch this tile of the mud. You can touch the first tile of the mud, the first row, but anything past that, you don't want to touch, because that'll activate the Shiva. Sprint down here, pull the lever. This is the tile that activates the door opening, by the way. Pull up. Run down here. Stop sprinting early so you can jump around. Give yourself about a full block to stop sprinting. It takes about a full block for you to regain the rest of your controls between your sprint, like when your sprint ends. You're gonna just keep going this way. Pull up. Now to make this next jump, this jump can be tricky. You're gonna jump up this slope. What I like to use as a visual is this orange dot right here. I like to get just a little bit past it, just slightly past it, like that, to jump up here. Now every monkey you encounter past here, you have to kill. For a glitch later on the level, you have to kill every single monkey. Pull this lever. Now we're going to do a sprint roll, and as soon as you hit this line right here, you want to roll. Sprint and roll so that you take minimal damage. You can do it, no damage. It's almost RNG. Kill these monkeys. You don't have to stop to kill them, just, you know, aggro them and then run to this lever, and then you can turn around and kill them. Alright, now we're going to do... Remember in Tomb Raiders 1 and 2, where we would do our corner bugs like this? You go into the corner, you face 45, and then you jump up and down to end up in the wall. So there's now a faster way of doing that. Instead, what we can do is we can face a little bit more than 45. Here, I like to use the star. The middle of the star is the tile seam. So I like to cover the star with this pillar in front of me. Turn, and then just crouch and go forward. Like that. Then you're going to roll off the platform. Pull this lever. And we're going to continue on our way. Next we have a hatch skip. Now mentioned how to do this a couple of times, so what you're going to do is make sure that you're flat against the top of the hatch, yank the camera up, and hold grab. Pretty simple. You just have to make sure that you're flat against the top, and you're going to jump against this slope. There's an invisible platform here and here. So let's do 2 standing jumps. Pull the lever. When you jump down, make sure to bonk your head against this ceiling beam so that you don't stumble. Saves a flare. Gonna run over here. Pull the lever. And then we're gonna go that way. Gonna go all the way here. We're gonna sprint, and then as soon as we get to the edge of that tile, we're going to crouch. We're gonna hold crouch. Like that. It takes a full block and a half to do the crouch. And at the last second, you're gonna dive. If you don't dive, if you just jump, there's a chance you get crushed by the debris if you're a little bit too far to the right. So I always swan dive just to make totally sure. Pull out, standing jump. Then do a running jump. Running jump, running jump. There's some flares off to your left. And there's a boulder at the end of this hallway. To jump over it safely, we're going to run until this black line, then walk until we get to this stair, and then run and jump again. Like this. And you're going to sprint down the left side of this hallway. If you sprint down the left side, you won't get hit by the blade. Kill these 2 monkeys, and these are the last 2 monkeys we have to kill. Because we're gonna do, you can pick up this med kit if you want. We're gonna do what's called a remote trigger bug. Basically what's gonna happen is this tile that you're on right now is a trigger tile to activate a flip map. So you're gonna light a flare and you're gonna drop a flare on it. Then we're gonna go down here, which activates another flip map. Gonna put the key in, and you can hear the flare going in the background. That's good. Then we're going to disappear from the level, and to do that, we're going to do a wall embed. In this case, we're going to do a crouch bug. And the game thinks that we are the flare, because the flare is the only entity in the level. The reason that you kill the monkeys is the monkeys can't be alive, because then they're also entities in the level. And the flip map doesn't work. And what that flip map does is it fills this pool full of water so that we can pull this lever. These monkeys you can leave alive. We're gonna collect this key. Now this is all about RNG. We got really good RNG. The Shiva's very far away. Sometimes the Shiva's right on top of this keyhole. If your health bar is blinking, the Shiva can insta-kill you, so you want to be really careful. There are 2 ways of doing this. When you go into this room, the spike ceiling starts coming down, so you can either do this. Make sure to jump and grab up to the ladder instead of just holding action and up. If you hold action and up, she doesn't go all the way up to the top of the ladder, she'll come down a little bit. Or we can do a flare embed, which I'll explain later on in the next tutorial. Basically what you do is you drop a flare right on the wall, crouch, you pick up the flare while pulling your guns out, until you embed it up in the wall. You turn into the wall, and then you get up. I'll explain it more in depth later, because I don't really do that strategy. Then, what we're going to do is we're going to do a flicker. Right here, you can either do a shelf bug, which is faster but more precise, a grabbing shelf bug you want to grab, or, and then you roll, or you can just do another crouch bug. Like this. And then roll. And then once you're in the flicker, you want to hold roll and left while trying to fight the camera until you pop out. Then pull these two levers. That could take a little bit of practice to fight with the camera to make sure the camera is facing Lara's back. Pull this block out to reset the flip map again to open the door. And then you can sprint into this boulder and the border between the gate and the boulder to get through the gate. And then we're gonna do this glitch. So the Shivas take 50 pistol shots to kill. If you're too far away from the Shiva, it'll block all of your shots, so you kind of want to do this kind of motion. You know it's going to attack you when it pulls its arms back, and you want to just hop back and then run back forward so you're not too far. When you get about 46, 47 shots in, you want to run to this corner to lure him onto the same tile that the Shiva's on, that the other Shiva's on. If the first Shiva dies on the same tile that the other Shiva's on, it will drop both scimitars. Like that. You just crouch under it and pick it up. Put both scimitars in this guy. Then we can move on. You don't have to kill that Shiva. He drops a third scimitar if you want it, but we don't need it, so. And then we're gonna go get our last Ganesha keys. I like to sprint and roll on that tile, and that should put you right in front of this door. Pull this lever. Remember, give yourself a whole block to stop sprinting. Then you pick up this key. Pull up. And then when you're sprinting, remember, give yourself a block and a half to crouch. Once you get on that platform where you pick up that key, another Shiva spawns. So now you have to be a little bit fast. Put the 2 keys in. And then we're gonna jump into the pool. Swim over to one side. Pull the lever. And then I turn around and then do 3.5 swims. So turn around and then do swim 1, 2, 3.5. Turn straight left and just keep swimming straight to the left. And you shouldn't get into the spikes. Pull the last lever and get the last key. In Tomb Raider 3, you cannot do that stumble, jump against the wall cancel like you can in Tomb Raider 1 for keyholes and switches and stuff. You can't do that in Tomb Raider 3. So instead, what you want to do is just run at the keyhole and just stop holding run early. Maybe give yourself about half a block. And now we're in River Ganges. This is probably the reason why you came, is to find out how to do River Ganges glitch. First thing you're going to do is jump in the river. You want to avoid the piranhas so that you don't take too much damage. You might get nibbled here and there, and you just want to follow the current. When you get to the trees, you know you're almost there. Again, just be careful not to get chewed up too much by the piranhas. You have a little bit of, like, lateral control. Alright, we're almost there. When you turn this corner, you want to save. And pull out a flare. Now, here's how you do this glitch. You're going to swim along this left wall. Once you hit this line, you want to stop swimming and let the current take you and turn your camera to the left. When you hit this line, you want to swim up against this wall and just swim up, and you should pop up to the top like this. Swim, stop swimming, turn your camera, swim up, like that. Perfect. That's gonna take a bit of practice. Definitely will take a bit of practice. Then you're gonna jump against this slope. You wanna just barely hit the slope so that you pop off like this. And grab as you're falling down. You want to be a little bit further into the pillar. If you're on the, you want to be a little bit further in. If you're on the corner, you won't move forward as you grab. You'll just move straight down and then get pulled into the river again. You want to run this way. You want to use 2 small med kits, or you can use the large. I'm gonna run this way. On this structure right here, we want to crouch bug. I'm gonna sprint over this gap. Gonna go here, shimmy all the way to the right, and we're gonna do this really specific, it's glitchless, this jump. It's a 3-block banana jump. Gonna take a step forward, make sure your camera is reset, and we're going to use as a reference, see this crack right here. So you see how you have, like, against this wall, it's the last block. Now you have this round stone and this flat stone. There's this crack in the middle. It's the very edge of this crack. You're gonna pan the camera all the way down, like that. That's the visual you want. And you're gonna run and jump, like that. And then you're gonna run and jump. And as soon as you jump, start doing frame buffers, inventory buffers. And as soon as she pulls her knee up, like that, you just want to hold forward and left. And she should pop through the corner. I think that's glitchless. It might not be, I don't know. Then you're just gonna exit the level. I'm gonna run this way. You're gonna jump up here, you're gonna pull out a flare. And now this is why you want full health. Because you're gonna go down this waterfall, grab the edge, and you're about to take a lot of health of damage. If you're not full health, just jump into the water. If you are full health, you can drop, flare cancel, and then just jump in here. And that's River Ganges. Case of Kalia is pretty easy. All you're gonna do is sprint to your left, sprint to your right, sprint to your left, sprint to your right. Get a crack bug if you're here. What a crack bug is, if you watch my Tomb Raider 1 tutorial, you know what a crack bug is. Crack bug is, you want to face into the corner, 45 degrees, and jump through. And it has to be any time there's a crack in between 2 passageways. There can't be, like, a solid block in between, but there has to be, like, a block and a block. That makes sense. In Tomb Raider 1, it's typically done in between, like, a movable block. Like that. Do it again. Now we're gonna go this way. Fake grab. By holding roll as you grab. Run this way. Crouch. Roll. And now we're gonna do the Tony fight. This Tony fight can get pretty tricky. I'll kind of explain how to do it. So what you're gonna do, the way the Tony fight works is he shoots flames that hone in on you, but first they go up to the ceiling. So you're gonna pull out your guns against the camera, jump at the last second on the slope, jump across. He doesn't take damage until he transforms the water, so you just want to grab this grenade launcher. Then you can shoot it all times. Fire. Then when you did that, pull out the grenade launcher, jump onto his platform, and shoot him twice with the grenade. Then you can crouch and take the stone. Aim for the stone. Easy, and that's it. You completed India. Make sure to join me next time when we tackle Nevada. Make sure you go to Nevada next time for the next section, because you lose all your weapons in Nevada and you need time to get all your ammo and stuff back. But until then, remember, thank you so much for watching, And remember, the ride never ends. Goodbye.